Cantrell, you gotta go. You got a resting bitch face. You bad built. We need a pretty mayor, baby. We need somebody that's gonna take care of the crime down here and see the lights off. You ain't come trying to check the area. You ain't trying to feed us. We want you out.
You speaking my language now. They say, talk to me, baby.
All Over the Road New Orleans is brought to you by Coin Trader Inc. Mind your money.
Come on, Coin Trader Studios, we're bringing it live. And who am I? I go by the name of Darkest Night. And Jada Hoyos is the one who brings a sick beat, to which we're getting pumped for topics this week. So let me grab my Greg soda and take a sip, while I turn it over to Katie, Nick, Ted, and Vic. It's all over. We're all over the road. We got a brand new show, so just lo and behold, from the bayou to the city to the burbs to the swamps, you better know what time it is when you're hearing that.
You call my name, I'm right here. What do you have to say to me?
Can I ask you one question?
What do you have to say to me? Say it.
So
don't
on the
ask me a question.
evacuation,
Say what you gotta say
I'm
to me.
trying. You keep interrupting me, man.
No, say what you gotta say.
On the evacuation, how come you said there wasn't enough time?
Because 72 hours
That's all you're
is a
gonna get.
time.
That's all you're gonna get.
We
I
didn't
grew up
have
here.
it, and we didn't have it.
You're lucky
And
to
we
get
didn't
36.
have it. We
You had
didn't
30,
have
you had
it.
36.
We didn't have
I
it.
disagree.
We didn't. How? When did we have it?
You are listening to Mayor Cantrell argue with someone at the Windsor Court.
You call my name, I'm right here. What do you have to say to me?
We have the next mayor in the studio today. We are live.
What do you have to say to me?
What your man got to do with me?
What do you have to say to me?
What your man got to do with
if
me?
you got something to say to me, say it to my face, would you? Just, come
On
on.
the evacuation, how come you said there wasn't enough time?
Because 72 hours
That's all you're
is
gonna
a
get.
time.
That's all you're gonna get.
We
I
didn't
grew up
have
here.
it, and we didn't have it.
You're lucky
And
to
we
get
didn't
36.
have it. We didn't have it.
Okay.
We didn't have it.
We out of the French toast.
How? When did we have it?
When you're over at the Windsor Court, you know what she's talking about? At the Windsor Court.
When did we have it?
Look, you know what he's asking her? He's asking her, what happened to the damn French toast?
Yeah,
At
what
the
kind of
Windsor
service
Court.
do you get in here?
I thought his question was, why didn't you call a mandatory evacuation?
Yeah.
Okay, so Vina Nguyen is with us
right.
here today. And
Yeah.
Vina is running for mayor of the city of New Orleans, and she is the king of all podcasting's choice for mayor. I'm going out there on a limb. I have a sign in my yard, and unlike my Trump sign that I was trying to hide because I was afraid, she's bold and proud. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go in and hang out from the balcony.
Balls to the walls. Let's make
Yeah.
this happen.
Yeah.
We're going to make history, and there's a new mayor in town.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, the sign was a
try to
little
speak
small.
more
You're
to
getting
the-
a bigger sign.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go.
Yes.
So
That way
it
you're
won't
more.
be any
Okay.
question. But
So we're live. I'm not sure it's a good time to be live because it's kind of lunchtime.
it doesn't matter.
But the best part
we work it around our schedule.
We went around Venus.
Yeah,
And
Venus.
and so we wanted to have Vina on. She's been on a couple times via phone, and then we wanted to have her in here today. So we hopped her up on some coffee, and we got her up here in the Coin Trader Studios. We're going to talk about a few things, and I thought it would be appropriate to start it out with that thing that happened with the mayor and that gentleman at the Windsor Court when apparently they were out of French toast.
Is that really how you're supposed to address your constituents in
Wow.
public?
What do you think of that? I mean, can you see, what do you think of that?
She
It is-
didn't know she was being
Do you think-
videotaped, but does that matter?
Well, yeah, but you know what I think? Correct me if I'm wrong, Vina, but this is someone that is kind of sick of her job.
It sounds like it. It
Doesn't
sounds
it?
like she's taking an easy and coward approach for any and everything, and she's being very defensive.
Yeah. Like, what do you bother me for?
Yes.
I'm
Like,
sitting
this
here-
isn't my job, but it is.
Yeah. Because
And-
as far as I know, I mean, if you're going to be mayor of a major city like New Orleans, it's a 24-hour job.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it, I think.
I think it is.
You know, she
I
may
think
have
it
been
is.
off the clock, but so what? You know, she's the mayor of New Orleans,
Well,
for God's sake.
I think that, and this is what Vina is going to tell us here today, is that there's a difference between just filling a seat. And I think as time goes by, she's filled it even a little more because, Latoya's put on a few pounds. Let's face it. So just kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's more than just filling. You like that one, Katie? It's more than just filling a seat. It's serving your people. I mean, you work for the people. Am I wrong, Vina?
No, you're completely right. And that's so funny you said that because I took a break yesterday from one of my meetings and I told Katie, I'm in the gym for 2 hours, literally. Because I feel that when you are working almost 24 hours, and let's just say that, you don't have to work 24 hours, but we're in the middle of a huge hurricane category 4, Hurricane Ida recovery for the entire city and there was not an evacuation or mandatory evacuation, you're going to have a lot of people that's going to ask questions. So be ready and be prepared to accept what they're saying and let them know that their feelings are valid, but have an accurate answer as to why you chose the route that you did. And that's good leadership, which we know she does not possess.
I don't want to breeze. I don't want to breeze past that because you hit it right on the head. When things like this happen and you're in leadership, you have to be prepared to answer these dang questions. They can't just surprise you. You know, this just seems like a woman that's totally disengaged with what's going on in her city. And to me, she reminded me of someone that just kind of hates her job. She's sick of her job. So why is she running? Now, the election is now November the 13th, which gives us a little bit more time to drum up some support. We're going to tell you about a rally that we're going to be having in City Park. It's going to be awesome. But you know, Vina, the other day we had you on and you were talking about something you were doing in Hollygrove. Tell us about that. You were in Hollygrove and the mayor, the current mayor, was serving French fries at a local McDonald's. So tell us about that.
Everyone always asks me, why did you sign up for this job? And I say, I'm the type of person that will roll my sleeves up and get dirty with the people. When I say get dirty, I literally was covered in trash and the garbage, just anything that you can think of, from dirty baby diapers to crawfish that we're not even in crawfish seasons, but that's what I was picking up, that type of garbage that's been sitting there, you know, accumulating all of this rot for weeks and weeks, because the problem didn't arise during Hurricane Ida. It arose before that. And we don't talk about that often. It's something that was neglected over and over again. And now it's compiled to this big, horrendous mess that we're living in. Someone once mentioned, an article I read, we're living in a live petri dish. And I feel as if we are.
Right.
And that's not, it shouldn't be this way. We deserve better.
Now, I remember the difference between the two hurricanes. You know, the two hurricanes were this. All right. Hurricane Katrina, everybody kind of left. And then they didn't come back until it was time to come back, you know? So, but what would happen here is that a lot of people stayed, and then we had the crisis, like people trying to get gas, people trying to get generators. You know, it caused like this big ruckus where, and you know, by the time people came back for Katrina, everybody had power, nobody had power. This thing was a total
well, people were left, and then they were told not to
cluster,
come back.
You know what?
Right?
Yes.
Don't come back too soon.
Yeah.
But you know, not everybody was prepared not to be at their home for an extended period of time.
Now, I heard that they were actually made it a Category 5 at the end. Did you hear anything about that, Vina? Did they actually upgraded it because some of the winds actually were at Category 5 speeds? But anyway, enough of that. The trash situation to expect. I remember during Katrina, right over here in West End. It's where the trash was. Remember, it was piled up. I mean, 50, 60 feet high. So now they're doing the same thing on Elysian Fields. Now, is this a residential neighborhood?
It is. I'm not sure, because I actually have not driven. I haven't drove by. We are working with someone, and he's having to. He himself, one person. I'm working closely with him. His name's Bill Thomason, and he hauls all of the trash because it's only certain hours. By the time that we're done compiling, and as a team compiling all the garbage and loading it on his truck, it's about 7 p.m., which they're closed. So the following morning, this one guy unloads all of the garbage that 7, 8, 9 people have compiled by himself. I want to give a shout out to Bill Thomason. He is the founder of Paint the Block organization. It's over a year now that he started this amazing organization where they go around town and they would find homes that they're like drug homes or homes that have been neglected, blight homes with graffiti all over it. And he would try to contact the homeowner, and if they don't communicate with him, he would literally paint it use his own funds to paint these homes so that it can look like a normal house. And these drug dealers will not use it as a drug or home or homelessness. They're not using it as a a shelter, because that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, right.
In these beautiful neighborhoods, it really shouldn't.
Vina Nguyen, who is a candidate for mayor. The election is now November the 13th. So she is a registered Republican in Orleans Parish, which is something, I don't know. When was the last time there was a Republican even on the mayoral ticket? Do you have that?
Well, we had the last Republican mayor was 151 years ago, Benjamin Flanders, and he wasn't elected. He was actually appointed as mayor of New Orleans for 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, it was like 1867.
Yeah, but I don't even remember even seeing one on the ticket.
No.
Since I've been voting in Orleans Parish.
So it's the date for that was 1870, guys.
70?
1870.
Gee.
Well,
I think it's time for a change.
Yes, hundreds and years now. It's not making sense.
I mean, what do you got to lose? What do you got to lose, really? You know, the reason why I asked you about the residential neighborhood is I was thinking, if it is, it's got to be some kind of an air quality problem for kids and something like that. It just seems to be a little. I mean, there's got to be some kind of a remote place where you can dump. Look, I can understand where there's just so much of this stuff that they can't pick it up, or they're not. First of all, what about IV? What about Sidney Torres? He can't jump in there and do something. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Why people can't have trash pickup and do debris. I call it debris pickup. And then if there was another place, why isn't there a remote location? You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, for some reason, we're losing Venus' face, which would be a tragedy. So, but anyway, this is an alternative that the people in New Orleans have now. I think they have a legitimate candidate. Okay, so we covered trash.
Well, I want to hear a little bit. I know we covered it a little bit previously, but if she could just kind of, give a little background, because people maybe
tell us your story a
hearing
little bit.
about Vina for the first time, possibly just, and then a little background. You're a business owner in the French Quarter, right?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am. I think we touched base on this last call, but my family were immigrants, and we came here back in 1990. And I have to say, my family is very patriotic, and we were pro USA. We left communism to come here to this great nation to build a life and to one day live the American dream, which I feel as if I am. Which I think is amazing. I think we need to get back to that instead of, separation. And why can't we think about unity? And why can't we together as a community see what's working in the government, what's not, what is ripping our society apart? Let's address those and come together and make sure that every voice is heard and we made valid points and that everyone is understood. Maybe I'm a female talking about feelings right now, but I think that matters because everyone has emotions and everyone has feelings and everyone wants to be heard. Well, I'm that person. I can hear you. I can hear what you're saying. I can validate your feelings and say, I have an answer for you.
Yeah.
And that you're going to say it's fair. You may not like it sometimes what I have to say, but I can tell you it'll always be fair.
Yeah. So you've never held public office, though, correct?
No,
Never in the past.
Clean slate.
Clean slate. And so why do you? What prompted you to want to run for mayor now, especially?
Well, at one point, just a few months ago, I had a partnership and I had 5 art galleries from my partnership, and at that moment, we were, it was right before, and it happened during COVID that I was approached with a business deal, and I said, we can make this happen. It was right before COVID that another.
Who's some hey, that's a photo opportunity right there.
Yes,
it is. Yes.
So
have a seat, Vic.
It was right before COVID, and then during COVID, at one point, I owned 5 art galleries with a partner, and we decided we cannot thrive under Latoya Cantrell's dictatorship. So he and I, we're still good friends now, and we just decided to hold off on this partnership. We may pick back up later. Yeah. And my lease was up for one of my own properties. I owned 2 art galleries at the time, so my lease was up, and I said, you know what? Instead of building of businesses and knowing that any of the decisions that the mayor or the government officials make that I don't agree with, especially during a time as like COVID, then I'm going to drown as a business owner. And I see that being affected with everything that happens in my life. During COVID, I was a victim of carjacking on my property, 4 theft accounts. And then my sister was stabbed to death. And then my businesses were suffering. So on every stance, I understand what the people are feeling, and I can tell you that you're gonna have an answer. And I am here to protect the people. I'm here to make small businesses or rebuild an economy where small business owners will thrive. I will make sure the person that was stabbed is not your family member. Okay, I will make sure that there's an answer to every solution. Whether if I don't have the answer, I will get the right people to give you the answer, and I will hear what you have to say, and I will take constructive criticism to be a better leader for my citizens, which I think is important. Now, those are things that a leader would say, not attack someone that's asking a simple question.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, I think you said something. We were downstairs having a little coffee. It was me, Teddy, Katie here, and of course, Vina. And she said, the people, the business people in New Orleans, they're going to want to be, and this is what she said, on my team. On my team. Not just, hey, you know, the business people are going to want to vote for me because I'm going to make it, you know, so you can make money in this city again, and we're going to bring back tourism. No, she said, they're going to be on my team.
Right.
You know, and that's that, you know, sometimes you say something, you don't even know what you're saying. That's big. When you start saying your team, that's a big thing. Because you know what? LaToya don't have a team.
Phase
No.
2.
She's got no, you know, I had an opportunity one time. There's a young man in my life, and I'll mention his name. His name is Daniel Strickland. He's a captain in the New Orleans Fire Department. And I had the honor of going to the day when they pinned his badge on him for captain. And when you become mayor, you're going to be at these things, you know. And this was, I don't know, she had just become mayor, and she was there. And I had a chance to meet her, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought she was delightful, you know, but she turned out not to be. You know, when you talk about the Hard Rock, when you talk about canceling Mardi Gras, when you talk about, I mean, you know, yeah, you know, Jazz Fest. We finally had a spot all over the road in New Orleans. A podcast.
We sure did.
Jazz Fest.
Yeah,
we finally had a
dis-
spot.
What a disappointment.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know, but
and, you know, that's we're just playing a little minor part, but for the city, it was a big disappointment.
Right. I mean, if you own a business in New Orleans, and I'm one of them,
Yes.
I want to be on the team.
And when was Jazz Fest supposed to be? This is next year.
No, it's supposed to be in October. It's supposed to be
October.
next month.
Okay, so
they
it was this
redid
year,
it.
but
Yeah.
Guys,
late.
this is prime season for all of us business owners. This
Yeah.
is what we live for in New Orleans. And one particular business owner, which I know he owns 3 bars in the French Quarter, he's losing $1.2 million. Right
Oh, I
now.
believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. How long can that happen?
You know, how
the
much?
rents aren't going down, right? The rents aren't. They're not giving people a break on the rent.
No, not at all.
Are they doing anything for these people that have businesses and have rents? Are there anything that I mean, what about the state? They're not doing anything? Is anybody going to the state and saying, hey, can we help some of these New Orleans business people?
Right. So
You know?
I don't believe that there's not any supplement. I do believe that when something happens and it's a global pandemic and we're still figuring it out, and it's been a year and a half now that we're still figuring it out, the solutions that we come up with, it's very temporary, but it's affecting everyone's livelihoods. Not only are we, so this is what we're doing. We're continuing to print money. The government is continuing to print money, but what they're doing is they're giving entitlement versus actually allocating it to the right people
Who
so
really
that we
need it.
so that we can get the economy moving forward.
Right.
So can I say for instance, we're giving unemployment checks, but what if we were to say, I don't care what state it is, this is the final point for unemployment, and we'll make some exceptions. However, you know, we're now giving funding to small business owners. And what we want you guys to do is work your way to become what you were prior to COVID. Well, how can we do that? Well, now we're going to give a number of employees, because let's say it was a small business and it was a one-man shop and they didn't have internet access. Well, I can tell you, there's a lot of people with a lot of money out there that's buying. Earlier this year, I had 2 months where that's the best month in sales I've ever had in the last 5 years.
Same here.
Earlier
Oh,
this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
Earlier this year. And I'm talking to Victor, and we're going to help him with the large painting that he and his wife will purchase. Well, can I tell you, there's a lot of people that have money that want to spend money.
Sure.
But let's make sure that we address the problem. Small mama papa businesses, don't have an online presence. They don't have the second, third person to help them. But what we can do is it's part of leadership. Say, well, here's some money that we're going to send and give you. Now you have to hire people to help you. Now, what did we just do? We're not giving that to unemployment. We're giving money to a small business owner and teaching them how to thrive and get themselves out of this rut while we, the country, figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess in a business like yours, you almost have to have a doorman now. Because they come to the business, it's almost like going into a bar. They got you. Here's your doorman. Can I see your vaccine proof? Okay, come on in. I mean, so that's almost like you having to create another job. And before, people can just freely walk into Vina's gallery and shop, but now you have to have someone at the front door. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely crazy. And then if you look at the numbers. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense because there's people with vaccines that are dying. There are people with vaccines where it doesn't last. There are people with it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And you know what that goes back to? We're always going to go back to an argument. And I feel as if that's Democrats fighting Republicans, unvax fighting vax. And I'm here to say, let's cut the nonsense. I don't care. Just like our mayor says, she doesn't care. I don't care about argument. I care about solution. Right. So that's where everyone tells me, you know, I'm not control, but I am very black and white as well. I don't want to sit here because if we sit here and argue and make our points known and we'll never come to an agreement. Because if you believe in vaccination, I don't. You'll never see eye to eye. Mm-hmm. But what we can do is go back to our Constitution.
Yes, separate discussions.
No, we can say go back to our Constitution. Because why do you live in this great country? Freedom. Right. Okay, well then freedom goes back to you choose what you want to do. I choose what I want to do.
Yeah, your family came from a communist country.
And we escaped that. Yeah. And let me tell you, I kiss the ground of this country. I love this country so much. And I want us to go back to that. I'm not here to fight, to be combative with anyone. I'm not here to be a negative person. I'm here to
You're to work. You want to work.
Yes, I do. And I'm doing it every day. And I'm not afraid to come and pick up your dirty garbage and run the city and move it in a way of righteousness and fairness for everyone. So when I say, you know, a lot of people like control or they're afraid of her is because she puts them in this fearful mindset. And for me, you know, if you think about it, the people that are giving her money and that's being supportive, it's because they don't want to be on her bad side. But why would they want to be on my team? Well, I can tell you, I'm here not just for a certain group of people, it's for all people. And if you have to choose between, are you going to choose to continue to supplement this woman who is, the way that she treats everyone, it's all coming to daylight now. Mm-hmm. You know, for those that are hiding behind her and supporting her and giving her money, well, this is how she is. I can tell you all the non-voters, they're coming out to vote. You know, we're all going to kick her off her throne. I'm sorry. This is truth right here.
Well, it'd be interesting to sit down and talk and, you know, and I've invited her on this podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
As you should.
And she's refused. And I'm not running for mayor. I would, but I have a checkered past. But I figure this is what I think.
God says no judgment. It's okay, Vic.
Yeah, right.
This is what I say, Vina. This is what New Orleans. These are the things that are important to New Orleans. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Food.
Yes.
Okay. Tourism. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jazz Fest.
Yes.
Mardi Gras. The French Quarter, and a clean and safe French Quarter. Mm-hmm. The New Orleans Saints. You can't lose the New Orleans Saints.
No.
You know, these are the things that are important. And, you know, people don't really know this city and let you go. You go to a Saints game, there's no division at a Saints game.
No.
There's no black, yellow, white, purple. There's none of that. You know, right. I can walk through any neighborhood in this city and be safe. Mm-hmm. I can. It's not what there is, people don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, New Orleans is, when all that crap was going on last year with all the rioting in other cities, we did shows on this, you know, Ted. Right. We didn't have that problem here. Mm-hmm. People generally get along here.
They do.
You know, it's bad leadership. When have you ever heard her sit down and talk about, hey, this is what's important to us. These are the things we need to concentrate on. You know, conventions, tourism, getting people in here. I remember after Katrina, when Sidney Torres got the maintenance job at the French Quarter, people were making fun of it. It was like Disneyland. You couldn't even find after midnight, you couldn't even find a candy wrapper.
Wow.
The place was clean. And I don't know if he's got some kind of riff with her or something, but why?
Yes.
I mean,
well, I heard of, I mean, rumors, and I don't know. I just know that there's a lot of talk, and he did recently get involved, and a lot of people have mentioned his name, so I started following him on his social media. Highly respect this man, and I can see why he thrives as a business owner. The leadership skills that he possesses actually kind of not mimics, but we have the same leadership skills. It's putting our people first. We care about our people. I don't have a hard time right now hiring. My employees are working 6 and 7 days if they have to in order to help us, bring and generate income. And at the moment right now, their morale is down because I'm running the campaign. I'm not there as much. And they barely see me, but when we do see one another, they give me bad news. Vina, in the French Quarter, we had 0 sales days.
Katie, you have to step up at the gallery.
Zero sales days, guys. And then yesterday we had a $78 sales day for the French Quarter for prime real estate that we pay almost, some of us, 6 figures in rent, but we're getting less than $100 in sales a day.
I'll tell you what. Can I make a deal with you?
There's no foot traffic in the damn French Quarter.
What about you're open on Saturday, right?
We're open 7 days a week.
All right. Okay. I'm going to come in one Saturday and I'm going to show you how to sell stuff. Do you want? I guarantee
Vic,
you. I guarantee you.
Business? Come on.
I come in there on a Saturday. I'll do at least $3-4 grand. I promise. We're doing it. We're gonna do it.
If he has to buy it himself.
Yes.
Okay. By myself.
Right. Well, no. It's the bodies that need to come to the French Quarter. We literally, it's a laws of average.
I'll bark them in. You got to bark them in.
Well, for sure. We have to be, again, So I'm saying that to you guys, but I know my weight. And so my weight is social media. We got through the hurricane, not hurricane, COVID, because I was proactively on the social media, spending a lot of time just telling the people and talking to the people and working our social network, which I'm going to raise my hand and say I'm the reason why we're not bringing in as much sales as possible, because I'm not at the gallery
you're running
as
for
much.
mayor.
I'm running for mayor.
Sure.
And so, there's going to be give and takes and sacrifices. We all sacrifice for everything. And I'm sacrificing my own business right now for the livelihoods of everyone else. I can be a lot of places, and I am a lot of places. You all are friends with me on Facebook. You can see how proactive I am, but even then I'm still in the gym. I think that's so important. I'm not vaccinated, but I am strong. I will take down someone that's 175 pounds, that sort of deal.
Well, how are you getting into the gym? And you must work out in Jefferson Parish then.
No, I work out in Orleans and I follow protocol. I have a mask on while I'm working out.
Okay.
I'm literally struggling while I'm working out just to get in a workout. And I do that twice a day prior just to, and I was in great shape, and now I felt like I gained like 10 pounds just in the last week and a half because I'm not home cooking or just to catch up on the daily things, because now I'm out picking trash and I'm helping people recover from the hurricane. And I couldn't cook because I was cooking for the thousands of linemen that was in New Orleans. So you see how that's a trickle effect. You don't take care of yourself because you're taking care of others.
Right.
Well, so I always put others before me, and my bills are paid. And of course my employees are still paid from, even though we don't generate sales, because I care about them.
I mean, this is totally foreign. I mean, we're talking now, even though she's not a politician, she's getting into politics. And this is politics. And you don't hear this from people in politics. They don't serve.
And that's part 1 of our exclusive interview with New Orleans mayoral candidate Vina Nguyen. Here's what's coming up in part 2 on the next episode of All Over the Road, New Orleans.
I thought government officials were public servant, but instead they're kings and queens now.
You're elected by the people to serve the people.
Yes, and I'm not a queen. I'm not going to be Queen Vina. Our mayor is having happy hour, and I see her at happy hour and serving French fries at McDonald's. Is she not thinking as a public servant?
Part 2 of the exclusive interview with Vina Nguyen, New Orleans mayoral candidate, on the next episode of All Over the Road, New Orleans.
Cantrell, you gotta go. You got a resting bitch face. You bad built. We need a pretty mayor, baby. We need somebody that's gonna take care of the crime down here and see the lights off. You ain't come trying to check the area. You ain't trying to feed us. We want you out.
All Over the Road and their staff and management would like to thank you for 2 seasons, embarking on season 3. Thanks from All Over the Road. This is the announcer guy speaking.
You know, Ted, I think Steam is beginning to pick up with the listener line.
You feel it?
I do.
Yeah, good.
Especially since you put the correct number on the website.
It did help dramatically to actually have the correct number posted. Yes, it did.
And that was designed to do what, Nick?
To drive people to call in and leave a message and get us to do either something or just ask us a question, anything that's on their mind. They can drop by anytime.
And we want to hear their what, Ted?
Their stories.
We want to hear their stories. This is what we promise you in season 3. More stories, more stories, more stories. And one other thing, much cleaner underwear.
601.
Route 66 768 8366.
That's it.
That's the one. That's the correct number.
What y'all doing with y'all's trash? Y'all taking y'all's trash to Louisiana Avenue? Because, that's the only street that got cleaned up after this storm. The city of New Orleans hasn't had trash pickup since August 24th in some places. We just went through a massive power outage because our monopoly energy company couldn't handle it. And people lost their entire fridges, which has been sitting on the street for weeks now. Now they want the residents to take their own trash to the sanitation station. The trash has been sitting there for 2 weeks.
All Over the Road New Orleans is brought to you by Coin Trader Inc. Mind your money.